guys, welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, the Bright Side Girl, and today we're going to be doing the theme announcement for Randomathon Round 2. Randomathon is the new readathon that I started this year. We already did round 1 in February. The reason I'm calling it Randomathon is because I want to be able to change the theme every time I do the readathon, and that way I don't just keep piling the same themes every single year. I was only going to do one round this year, but I had a theme idea that I so wanted to do, so I decided to cram one more in before Hikeathon starts, and I think you guys are all going to be really excited about it. I know we're still in the middle of Galacyathon right now, but I really tried to give around 3 weeks of TBR building time, and if I announced it at the end of Galacyathon, you would only have 2. So we're just gonna announce it now. So the theme for round 2 of Randomathon, which is gonna be running Monday, April 8th through Sunday, April 21st, is food, as you can tell from my shirt here. So this is gonna be super different than anything I have done so far. So kind of self-explanatory, but we have 3 different ways you can do the readathon. 1, read books that have a heavy food theme, food element, like our main character works at a bakery or a cafe, or the whole book can kind of center around a certain type of food. There are even some fantasy books that aren't necessarily about food, but they talk a lot about food in the book and kind of give like a more cozy vibe. So that is the first way you can do the readathon, is reading books that are centered in some way around food. The second way you can do the readathon is books that have some kind of food in the title or on the cover. Now, not every book that has a food title or cover is going to be about food, so this is kind of a nice way to sneak some other books in there that aren't so heavily food focused. I will be doing the third option where I do a mix of the two, so I'll be reading mostly books with kind of a food theme, but I have a few books that have food in the title or food on the cover that don't really have to do with food at all. This will be a little bit more self-explanatory as my Randomathon haul comes out, as well as my recommendations video and my TBR, which will all be out in the next 2 weeks, so stay tuned for those. I'm going to give you all the recommendations. I do already have a baking book recommendation video that was mostly centered around Christmas holiday reads, but I had a couple non-holiday reads in there as well, so I will link that up in the cards as well as down below in the description if you want to go and check it out. So like I said, this is going to be a 2-week readathon. I'll be vlogging per usual, so I'll be doing food themed activities and making different types of food and eating different types of food. It's going to be really fun to vlog this particular readathon. All the photo challenges are going to be really fun as well. I will link the graphics folder if you want to download like the photo challenges and the currently listening, currently reading, all the stuff that I normally do. The link to the graphics folder will be down below in the description, along with any other like recommendations, a food themed ambiances. I have a Spotify playlist and all the kind of stuff that we normally do for the readathon. So make sure to check those out. The graphics will work mostly for your Instagram stories. There's a couple that will work for your regular Instagram feed as well. So for now, we're gonna jump into the reading challenges. I had so much fun coming up with this. All right, challenge number 1 is set in a restaurant. Now this could be at a restaurant, a cafe, a food truck, a bar. There are actually quite a few books that have this setting. A lot of contemporary, but there are a couple loosely like fantasy themed ones as well. So you can kind of get creative with this. It doesn't have to be 100% in the restaurant, cafe, or whatever, but you do want one that has like a significant portion of the book that kind of mentions it or talks about it. I'll be sharing more recommendations in my stories on Instagram as well. Make sure you're following on there at The Bright Side Girl. I'll be making reels and different things also. All right, challenge number 2 is that the main character cooks. So they are either a chef or a barista, or they just like cooking in their home. Maybe it's like a mom that really likes cooking for her family, or even like a young girl that is learning to cook for the first time. Again, a lot more options than you think for this. So you want a main character that has like some interest in cooking. Lots of good graphic novels for this category too. Challenge number 3 is food in the title. So this is one where you can go a little bit more off the rails. Anything that has a food, a spice, a seasoning in the title will work for this category. Again, I'm going to try to make a short reel for this and have some other recommendations as well, but there are a lot that don't have anything to do with food themselves. So if you kind of want to break up the heavy food themed books, you can do so with this category. Challenge number 4, this one's a little bit trickier, is features recipes. So I know there's a lot of like cozy murder mysteries that will have like recipes in the book, or the characters will kind of go a little bit more in detail with what they're making. You could even use a fun cookbook for this category. There are actually a lot of cookbooks that have really great stories in them about the author's lives, or like a story that ties in with the recipe. So again, kind of get creative. And then challenge number 5 is fruit on the cover. So we're thinking strawberries, watermelons, grapefruits, any kind of fruit on the cover. There's a lot of fruit prevalent in a bunch of different styles of books, so this is going to be an easy one. Again, as always, you do not have to do any of the challenges to participate. You can pick and choose. You can combine. So if you can find one where the main character cooks and it's set at a restaurant and there's food on the cover, that can count as one book. You don't have to read 5 books, but you can if you want to. I always like to make my readathons as accessible and easy as possible, but also just like slightly challenging, so you kind of have to scavenge your shelves or your local library. I like to request my audiobooks and my physical library books now, like as soon as the announcement happens. Sometimes there can be waits on books, and that way you know you can get stuff in time. I see a lot of people that sometimes are like, I don't have a book for this category, and I'm like, go to your library, or you can even take a picture like on your phone or your Kindle. You don't have to physically purchase the book to use it for like the Instagram photos or to read at home. Like, the library has so many good options for us, so make sure you check out your local library both online and in person and support them. I really like to go whenever we have like a new theme. I'll go to the library and just like look at all of the spines and see if any of the spines are kind of giving me vibes for whatever readathon we're doing. I found a really weird one for this particular readathon by doing that. I'm concerned about it, but I think I'm going to read it for the readathon because it'll be a really fun vlog. I'll talk about that more in my TBR video. The hashtag for the readathon is going to be hashtag randomathon. I thought about changing it every round, but I think we're just going to leave it the same. But all the graphics are different. It's completely separate from the first round of randomathon. Like I said, graphic novels will work really good for this one. I have the photo challenges on Instagram, which will enter you into a giveaway if you're here in the US. And also, it's just such a fun way to connect with each other and make friends. I share everybody's photos from the challenges every day. I do different things in my stories, and we all just have like a fun little reading party. The point of my readathons, while it is to read a little bit more than normal, is mostly just to have a good time and really immerse yourself in whatever theme we're choosing and to connect with others. So if you're kind of leery about doing a readathon, don't be. They're so much fun. You can make them as easy or as hard as you want. I have people that read 10 books like I do, and I have people that read 1 book and they still have a great time. We love doing the photo challenges and finding different creative ways to take the photos. Again, you can make those as easy or as hard as you want. You can literally hold a book up in front of your shelves or your living room every day and do the same type of photo. You can go run around town like I do sometimes and try to find different things that work for the theme, just because I find that kind of fun. I schedule a lot of my photos in advance to make it a little bit easier and allow me to connect with you guys a little bit more. In general, the point of the readathon is to just have a really, really good time. I'll also be having some food themed movie recommendations. I'll probably put them in my stories because I thought of some really good ones that would be fun to watch in between all of our reading or with our spouses or kids or whatever we have going on at home. I think that's pretty much it for now. I will also link my how to do a readathon video down below in the description, as well as up in the cards. If you are brand new to readathons, this will give you all the tips and tricks for how to have a really, really good time, make it easy on yourself, and just an enjoyable good time. So be sure and check out that video if you haven't already. Let me know if you are excited about this theme, and if you guessed it in advance down below in the comments. Let me know any food themed books that you have already read and loved as well. Stay tuned for my recommendation video, a themed book haul, and a TBR coming at you all jam-packed really, really close together pretty soon. And I will see you guys next time on The Bright Side.